Mom, can I talk to you for a second? What's the matter? I always have this bad feeling when I hear from you. Don't say that. You should be happy to hear from your only son. The problem isn't that I don't feel happy about it. So, what do you want? I'm sorry, but could you send me $500? Money's really tight this month. Ted, you borrowed money last week too. That's enough. You said last time was the last time. I know, but in the city, rent prices and a lot of other things are more expensive, and it just isn't enough. Why don't you come back? You don't even know if your current job is gonna last anyway. Don't say that. I'll never leave my current company. You've changed job just this last year. It'll be fine this time. And I don't want to go back to the countryside where there's nothing. Amy says she can't live in the countryside. You've been married for 3 years. Why don't you ask Amy to get a part-time job before asking me for money? It'd make your life a little easier. I told Amy that she didn't have to work when we got married. But if she doesn't work, you won't have enough money, right? Don't expect your parents to give you money forever. I have my own retirement fund too. I can't waste money. It's not a waste, is it? Your son's in trouble. So you're saying you'll take care of me in the future? Well, Amy doesn't want to live with you. It's a little difficult. Then you should work hard yourselves. You are the only one I can ask. It would be different if Dad were still alive. Even if he were alive, he'd say the same thing. Don't act spoiled. But I thought the inheritance from Dad was still there. Your father died when you were in elementary school. It's already gone to your tuition. And you even had to repeat a year in college. You always make me spend extra money. Stop lecturing me about the past. I am an adult who has graduated from college and is already married. And don't ask me for help. I can't take care of my nearly 30-year-old son. If you didn't want to give Amy a hard time, you would work hard yourself. Please don't say that. Mom, this is the last time. Do you know how many times I've heard you say that? How can you just ask for money? I'm busy. Anyway, I won't give you any more money. There are still things you can do. Why would I give any money to someone who doesn't make an effort? I see. That's fine then. Mom, you're really unreliable. Hey, Ted. I got a call from Amy. What's going on? What? What did she say? She said to please stop picking on her. Oh, you mean about the part-time job? Why is it supposed that I am picking on your wife? Because you said so, Mom. We don't have money because she doesn't work a part-time job. That's misleading. I was really surprised when she said I was picking on her all of a sudden. But it depends on if she feels like she's being picked on. I said, before asking me to support you with money, you have things to do. A couple should work hard together to make a living. If the salary that you make is not enough, then why don't you ask Amy to get a job? Maybe you said it as a suggestion. Amy might think we're poor because she doesn't work. I think the way you told her was wrong. Anyway, tell her that I didn't mean to blame her. Okay? I tried to explain it to her, but she didn't seem to understand. Then send money. Maybe then she'll make up her mind about it. That's a different story. Didn't she ask you to do that? She asked you to come up with a little more money. Well, yeah. People said I spoiled you too much, and all kinds of other things. So it's your fault. It's not funny. How can you blame me? And for the record, she is the one who decided to marry a boorish boy like you. Of course, I feel sorry for her as a mother, but I can't do what I can't do either. Her parents don't want anything to do with us anymore. Did you ask them for money too? How can you be so pathetic? Well, she was the one who asked. It's the same thing. You're so pathetic. For God's sake, make a decent living. If you can't make a living, why don't you ask my uncle to live with him for farming? The rent is cheap there, and you don't even have to worry about food. I told you, I don't want to go back to the countryside. Oh, but I might go home for the first time in a while. We have the holidays coming up. Well, you should come home and visit your father's grave. You haven't been there for 3 years now. And I'd like to know about your living expenses. What? That's not the point. I won't force you to do this. But if you really need help, let me know. I might be able to give you some advice. All right. Well, I'll talk to her about it. Then let me know if you decide to come. I'll make many of you two's favorite dishes. Ted, what are you doing? You already found out? What do you mean I already found out? You used my credit card without my permission. I'm sorry. I just needed a little something. That's a lot more than a little something. I've seen your statements. Various high-brand items for hotel bills for a trip. Do you know how much the total was? A friend of us invited us on a trip, but we don't have any money. What the hell are you talking about? Using your parents' credit cards just because you don't have any money? I have the card here. You must have taken a picture of the number and security code the other day, didn't you? Sorry, but we were in real financial trouble. You wouldn't lend us any money, so we had no choice. You wanted the money in the house from the start, didn't you? After you left, there was almost $1,000 in cash missing too. Oh, you noticed? Of course I did. Well, you didn't say anything. I just pretended I didn't see it, thinking you were in so much trouble that you stole from your own parent. Besides, I'd really decided it was the last time. I used my credit card info to go on spending. I won't forgive you. I'm sorry, Mom. I'll pay you back someday for what I spent. So don't be so mad at me. Give it back to me now, not someday. I can't. You know I can't, right? If you're working, you can borrow money, right? So, you can pay me back right now. Do you know how much money you spent on the credit cards? About $3,000. 2 months, $6,000. Really? I'm the one who's surprised. It's definitely Amy. She bought a lot of things she wanted. So, what are you gonna do about it? I'm asking you if you'll pay or not. I can't. Well, then I'll never see you again. I guess this is the last time we'll ever have a mother-son relationship. Huh? You're cutting me off? Yes, I am. Since I'm cutting you off, I'll give you the money you spent as a servant's package. I'm sorry I used your credit card without your permission, but you don't have to be so mad. We were in financial trouble. You can afford it, so... I'm mad because I can't afford it. But you can make a decent living, right? If you two stop wasting my money, I think I can make a decent living. You ordered food delivery right away. If there's something you want, you don't hold back and buy it. Because of that kind of spending, the family budget was plummeting. You call it spending. I work hard. I want to buy what I want. If all I do is hold back, I'll never know what I'm living for, will I?
So, please do it within the limits of what you can afford. Are you sure you want to cut me off, Mom? Dad passed away, and you only have a few relatives. I'm the only one who you can call close family, right? I'm your only son. Even if you are my only son, I would rather be alone than have my retirement savings taken away from me. Besides, what's the point of having you around? When I was in the hospital before, you didn't even come to see me. A boy who was an immigrant at the time, who had recently moved into the neighborhood, he was much more helpful to me. Even if he was, he's a stranger. I'm just saying that a son who wants money is worse than a stranger. Oh yeah? Then you'll live alone, and you'll be lonely. Yes, I'll live alone. So, just don't bother anymore. That's my last wish as a parent. A mother isn't a mother if she doesn't help her child. Even if you get in trouble in the future, I'll never help you. Go screw yourself so I can keep a little bit of your money, you old woman. I will never be involved again. Hey, what the hell is going on? Where are you? Yes? Mom, there are strangers at your house. Huh? Like I said, I just went back to your house, and there's an unknown man and woman living there, and they said my mom isn't there. What? What's going on? So, a stranger lived in my parents' house, which means you moved out, right? Strangers? They're my son and his wife. What are you talking about? I'm your son, and I have a wife, aren't we? No. He's the only son I have. Stop joking around like that. I'm the only son of yours, right? Ted, you're not my son anymore. Have you forgotten that I cut you off years ago? I haven't forgotten, but that was a long time ago. I'm a grown man and I've reflected on myself too. I'm glad to hear that. I'm relieved. I'll see you later. Mom, wait! Who is that couple? Those people moved in a few years ago. I told you before that someone was kind to me when I was in the hospital, right? That's him. He got married. So how come they live there? Because I gave it to them. What? A house? Yeah. It's hard to live in the countryside since I'm getting older. Why haven't you said a word to me? What are you thinking? I thought I was getting the house. You said you'd never come home. Yes, but you were thinking of selling the house? But it's only worth a few thousand. A few thousand is a lot of money. So, you were looking after the house for the money. No, it's not like that, but I came home because I was worried about you. Then don't worry. I live in an apartment for the elderly. I've been living just fine. Where do you live? I won't tell you. I wouldn't want you to come asking for money again. I won't do that anymore. So tell me, Mom. I've only just begun to appreciate you over the past few years. I want to apologize. I miss you, Mom. How's life with Amy going? Why? Well, it's going well, but... What about your debt? What? You have debts, don't you? No, I don't. What are you talking about? That's funny. I got a call a few months ago that you have debt. You borrow money from a sketchy place, don't you? I kept telling them that you weren't my son. If they were going to keep calling, I was going to call the police. After I told them that, they never called me again. Can't pay back that kind of money in a few months, can you? So, what about the debt? I haven't paid it. I knew it. That's why you came crying to me. I'm sorry, Mom. But I tried to do my best. So you guys haven't changed a bit. Don't talk like that. I've been trying to save money lately. Lately? You've had plenty of chances to rebuild over the past few years. I've heard from her parents. They said you stole money from their house while they were away. For me, it's credit card charges. For your in-laws, it's theft. What you're doing is a crime. This is really the last time. I won't bother you again. I'll even take care of you in your old age. Amy says if you'll help us, she'll cooperate. It's too late for that. While you guys are still spending money and making debts, I was preparing myself to live on my own. If anything goes wrong, Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton, who I gave the house to, will be able to help me. They do a lot of things for me. They're much more reliable than you are, so I'm sure I'll be fine. Don't say that. This time it's really bad. I don't know what's gonna happen to me if I don't do something. I borrow money from a really serious place. Even so, you chose to do it. There's nothing I can do about it. Help me, Mom. Don't leave me. I thought I loved you unconditionally because you're my son. But it was you who abandoned your parents' love. I'll do whatever you say, and I'll never get into debt again. I work diligently, so I'm not going to be told by someone who never listened to a word I said before. You've never worked seriously. I'll definitely change this time. I really don't have anything to ask. Amy's parents said they'd call the police just for going near their house. You guys should be thanking me and her parents, right? I should have called the police. You should be thankful I didn't do that. Really, it was my last bit of mercy. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Mother, please forgive me. Forgive you or not, I'm not your mother anymore. I'll never tell you where I live, and I'll block you. I will never see you in any way, no matter how much trouble you're in. I will never get involved with you again. My son and his wife contacted me several times. I blocked the calls so that they really can't get in touch with me. The only reason I haven't done this before is because that I was hoping and wishing for just a little bit more. Maybe it was because I was wanting to hear about my son who had changed. So when the debt collector contacted me, I was sad to hear that nothing had changed. My son and his wife, who hadn't changed at all, were really helpless. But I'm glad I was able to make a solid decision like that. Even though I'm an adult, I didn't save my own child. Perhaps some might accuse me of that. I don't think I need to take care of my own child, who is fully grown and an adult, as if they were a baby. And the love I have for my son? If this incident didn't happen, I'm sure it'd still be here now. I haven't heard from my son and his wife since then, so they must be dealing with it somehow. Whatever they did, I believe they deserved what they got. After that, my son and his wife stopped asking me for money for a couple years. I was working from home and other jobs to make up for the lost asset. Also, I have been in touch with Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton. I don't feel lonely. I've made some new friends since moving into this apartment. I don't know how much time I have left, but I will enjoy the rest of my life with a lot of happiness.